Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Rusty here, and welcome back to Impact Dynamics Live, episode 21 or something. That's like nearly 4 weeks worth of doing this. And you're still coming back and still watching. That's awesome. Thanks so much for being here tonight. Looking forward to having Jay on the show. This is Jay's third appearance, and we actually haven't spoken about what he actually does with his training, which that's what we're going to get into tonight, because he spoke about New Zealand trip on one of them, and then we did a Q&A on the next. So we actually haven't talked about Orange Accuracy and all the amazing stuff they do there. So that's tonight's plan. If you've got questions for Jay, chuck them in the comments. If you are having something to drink, chuck that in the comments. Just put some comments out. Let's start this thing rolling. Let's have a good show tonight. There we go. We're getting told by Butters already. He's enjoying the Heatstroke open shirt. Thanks, man. Thanks, appreciate that. First comment on some clothing. I'm not really known as a fashion icon or anything. Not yet, anyway. Working on that. I'm going to get a beard trimmer and get this all tidied up, and then we're going to... Anyway, future goals. Guys, massive thanks Projectile Warehouse as well. Got some exciting news about Projectile Warehouse, but what you need to know is you can save 5% off everything on the site by using the code IDLIVE with the number 5. And just today, added the full range of outer edge projectiles on there, and also put up a new announcement that's coming up tomorrow, but just sneak it in there slightly now, bulk packs on OEP projectiles. More details tomorrow. It is very exciting and local and Australian made, and that's all good news. Hello, Emma. Hello, Charles. Hello, Lexi and Richard. Oh, we got all sorts of people in here tonight. This is good fun. Hope you guys and Andrew and Sean and Ben and Paul. Wow. All right. Thanks, guys, for saying good day. Hope you're having a wonderful day, whatever it has been. What else we got to tell you, Lance? Good day. I think that's about it. Tomorrow, we're going to tell you who's coming up on the show. So tomorrow, Steve from Outer Edge Projectiles, hence the announcement's going to be held off until then, and there'll be some details on there. And so Steve's going to come on, talk about projectile design, talk about making projectiles in Australia, and all sorts of interesting... One of the most clued up dudes on reloading I've ever had the pleasure of meeting, and can talk really in depth. Hello, Lana. Hope you're doing well. And Friday night... I said as a special guest, well, here's the news. Dutchie from the Precision Shooting Podcast, the comic relief on the show, is going to be here for your entertainment on Friday night to kick back, giggle at, and enjoy. And then Sunday night, we've got a special Q&A, and that is going to be featuring the Ballarat crew of the two Stevens, both Emma and Andrew, and Scott Break Everything McMillan. So I'm looking forward to that. Scott's got a wealth of experience with things that don't work, and perhaps experience with some things that do work now. And they're all very good shooters, and they're all very focused on what they're doing, and look forward to that. That should be really good fun, although they'll probably have had a few rums before they get on to get the confidence up. So that it could go either way. It could be really informative or really entertaining. I'm aiming for both. More people in the chat. Hey, guys, hope you're doing well. Ryan, Mary, Ben, Scott, Craig, Warwick, guys, awesome. There's a stack on tonight. Jay, you must be popular, mate. Anyway, we'll. I think that's about all that's going on. All stuff, and then Monday night, Andy Little is on Monday night, I believe, and we are launching a new initiative, which I'm very excited about. We're gonna use this show to do as much good in the world as we can, in our little world that we can. But we're going to do what we can. So I'm looking forward to launch on Monday night. More details in the next few days about that. Anyway, I think we've wasted enough time building it up. There's enough guys here. We're going to get the man himself on board. As I've talked about him plenty of times on the show, as I said, has been on before, but Jay is the man behind Orange Accuracy, really probably one of the best training organisations in, let's say, the Southern Hemisphere. Why not? Let's go with that. And do know his stuff, but an absolute gentleman. And really passionate about seeing this sport go further, passionate about guys getting better at what they're doing, and loving shooting and just hanging out with people and really enjoying the community. He's a big part of the community, and you'll see him at so many matches of service rifle and PRS, and it's wonderful to have him around at all of those. So Jay, hopefully you're on deck. We've got you tonight. How you doing, mate?
Very well. I'm blushing. Am I blashing?
You're blushing.
That's an amazing intro, mate. Thank you.
That was the goal, to get you all red and like the contrast between you and me right now on screen. It looks you've been out in the sun, mate. I've been outside for 3 weeks, so you're no doubt, and you're doing well tonight.
Yeah, doing very well, mate. Thank you very much. just sucking it up like the rest of us at home with the family. And
yeah.
Well, you shouldn't say sucking up because it's actually been good, to hang out with the family and get some stuff. Like me and Rory down at the park tonight, cutting some laps and things like stuff like you just wouldn't do. It sucks, but it's kind of been cool.
Yeah, you got to spin on it and look at. I mean, that's the thing is, I tell you what, had we not been in this position, we wouldn't be doing this show. And this is what your third time on now. We probably wouldn't have spoken that much in the last 4 weeks. It's look at the good things I get, or maybe that's a bad thing for you. I'm not sure, but I've enjoyed it. Let's put it that way.
No, it's been cool. It's been very cool, man. And then just watching everybody else that you've had on, just hearing their side of the world and learning what they've learned, and it's I think it's a really positive thing for everybody in the shooting community, mate. You're doing a fantastic job as well.
We might just give up PRS and just do this instead. No, we're going to get out there shoot as soon as we can.
We're building the studio.
Oh, I love it. Excellent. Very good, man. So, give us a quick rundown.
Not in Darwin, Butters.
Not in Darwin, it's too far. And unusable for 8 months of the year as well. So, a rundown on orange accuracy. I mean, I'm curious to know sort of why you decided to get into running training, and why you would take the time to actually spend time teaching others.
Okay, so mate, I've been in a very fortunate position with my work over the past decade, if not a little bit longer, to hang out with some guys that are really, really good at the shooting game, and then to be instructed by some guys that are actually even better than the guys that I was working with. So, and I got to build a real. I don't like to talk it up, but like a real wealth of knowledge. Which you don't realise you've got until you start talking to people. And those guys that I was working with and still work with today, their passion for what we do is, through the roof, and it just makes it easier to go to and hang out and shoot and test things and try it. And then through all those mentors and all those guys I've hung out with and all those instructors I've been able to rub shoulders with, I just thought they've given me something that I can do something with, and I started doing that within our workspace, and found that I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I was any good at it, but people let me do it, so I carried on doing it.
Perfect.
And then I just kept. I got to a point where I thought, what, I think there's more to this than what we get out of our little world. So I, by chance, here in Canberra, I went down to the F-class range to see what I could pick up from those guys. I mean, those guys have been shooting, like some of those guys have been shooting for 50, 60 years. There's stuff in their heads that we'll probably never get out, which is a real shame because 50, 60 years of anything, your knowledge has got to be through the roof. So I thought I'm going to go down there and see what I can suck out of these guys, see what I can get.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, but that just opened up a whole other world to me because I'd never shot in that competition space. I was always, it was always just what we did for work.
Yep.
And then I got down to that competition space, and the competition, take a leave it on it. It doesn't bother me whether I finish 12th or 32nd or 64 out of 40 shooters. I just like being there and hanging out with guys and shooting with guys and learning from guys. And then I thought to myself, there's a lot of stuff here that I've never heard or I've not been taught. And now I've got that, and now I've got sort of both sides. I need to do something with this other than just keep it in-house, So I thought, why not? Other people have done it.
Yeah.
Why can't I do it? I'm going to give it a nudge and see what I can do to help other people, there's no way I'm going to retire on this gig.
Yeah. Got it.
But it's just cool to hand stuff back. Like I was actually speaking to a bloke the other day from down in Tassie, and he let me know that he shot in his first competition after doing one of my courses and won it.
Oh,
now, I'm not saying that that's my fault or everything I taught him made him win that comp, but I was just stoked that he had taken what I taught him and applied it, down on the range, and it was hanging out with other guys, which he'd never done in the past. I was just that for me is like, yeah, man, this is cool. I'll keep doing this just to get those stories back, Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic, man. And so, how long have you been operating under Orange Accuracy? How long has that been?
2000. What'll be 2019, 18? I think I think I started it at the start of 2017. I'll have to check my Instagram to see when the first post. That's bad, eh?
No, you're not the only one. You're not the only one who has to do that. I have to go back and check the Facebook and anyway.
Yeah, no, so maybe 2.5, 3 years, mate.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, nice. Nice. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm just going to take a quick moment here to interrupt you off your flow because, that's what I do. And just let our viewers know that tonight we haven't forgotten, tonight is the Zoom Hangout. So after the show or towards the end of the show, I'm going to put the Zoom room numbers up. So if you've got Zoom and you just want to hang out for about 40 minutes or so after the show with whoever's around, the numbers will be up at the end of the show. Jump on in and we'll catch up with you there. So anyway, just putting that out for that because, it's Wednesday night. The Monday public holiday, even though it wasn't really a public holiday given the circumstances I'm in, it's thrown me completely for the week. But very good, mate. Very good. And so you're based out of Canberra. I mean, give us the details for people who are looking to maybe get involved once things go back to normal.
Okay. So first of all, check us out on the socials, which most people, I'm guessing, that are watching this already hopefully already done.
Oh, and if not, they need to be. Or basically, Orange Accuracy on everything.
So there's that, and then just jump on our website at www.orangeaccuracy.com.
Yep.
And then there's different information on a couple of different courses that offer. Mm-hmm. The long range shooting course being the most popular of the three that are offered.
Yep.
And work out what's for you, whether you want to come and do a beginner course or an intermediate course. And to be honest with you, most of the guys that do an intermediate course, for my money, should have just done a long-range shooting course because if you've got those skills to come and do an intermediate stuff, we can take you and throw you at long-range, absolutely no dramas. People think they need to do stage 1, 2, and 3. Well, that's not the case. Yep. But, just work out what's good for you and what you want to do and then get in touch.
Yeah.
And we've got stuff like on the website. We've got dates. Plan dates, and then if you've got a group that want to come and do it, we'll find time or we'll work around you guys so that we can get dates that work for everyone. Or if you just want to come by yourself and do one-on-one stuff, I'll also do that. We'll schedule something that works for you, works for us, and works for range bookings, and we'll go and do it. It's just here to help, man. I just want to give back what I've been giving. So
fantastic, mate, fantastic. And so
Sorry, mate. My phone number's on there too. Don't hesitate to give us a call. I'm more than happy to have a chat to you. It's cool.
Absolutely, man. And I was going to say, so because I've been in that position where you're running courses and guys are like feel intimidated about coming and doing a course. They feel like they haven't got their stuff squared away, or they want to get a few things tidied up before they come and do a course, so they haven't got the gear or whatever it is. And I can guess what you're going to say, but what advice would you give on that scenario?
So on the website, I've listed out the gear that is best suited for the training or for the courses. Is my internet working? Do I have to go and tell the kids to get off half a dozen devices?
No, you're going all right,
There's two kids in this house. There's 2 kids in this house, and there's about 14 devices running at the same time.
So far, so good, mate. So far, so good. We can still see.
Can't wait to get them out the door so they can pay for the internet.
There are a few questions about what trashy TV are you missing out on tonight, but we'll get to that later on. We'll get to that later on. Anyway, sorry. So you've got a list on the website of equipment that is recommended to come and do the course. So that's probably
Yeah. But in saying that, and there's a couple of guys out there that, I hope would attest to it. But we can make anything work once we understand how it works. So so let's have an example. Run a course down at Castlemaine. He's a top bloke. He turned up with his first rifle and he was good to go, like very enthusiastic and thirsty for knowledge.
Yep.
And he had a BDC reticle and a 16-inch 308 Remington 700.
Yep.
And so we do during the course. We'll start all our shooting at 100 meters because long range shooting is just 100 meter shooting further away.
Yep.
So we started at 100 meters, got it all dialed in, and then the next shot we made after we've had a couple more lessons for him was at 800 meters. Is that what they get? Is that what we get at Castle Mainly?
Yep.
And he's like, man, I can't make this shot. And he didn't have exposed turrets. He's got a BDC reticle and all the rest of it. And we just worked with him to, righto, mill that target. Well, tell me what that target fits into your BDC reticle downrange.
Yep.
And then we mill it and we say, well, for us, that's 3 mil. So you now have a reference within your reticle pattern, that's 3 mil.
Yep.
Now, what's your elevation hole? I need, I can't remember, 8.5 mil.
Yeah.
Righto. So 8.5 mil above that target is that that really nice clear rock on the top of the berm. Aim at that.
Yep.
Bang, ting.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
It's just applying everything and making it work. And man, I'm not saying he had the worst kit on the line, but he didn't have the best setup for what we were doing on the line. And he had the biggest smile on his face at the end of the course. It's just so cool, man. It's like
100%.
And from there, he's just gone out and he actually turned up at the second course around at Castlemaine with one of the nicest systems I've ever seen in my life.
There is so much.
So, it just goes to show you can make.
Yeah. There's so much truth in that where you talk about where I had guys in the same scenario where they didn't think they had the right stuff, and now I'm neutral because I don't run anything, and so you don't have to come and do a course with me because you can't anyway. But I would suggest that if you're watching and you're thinking about getting into it, go and do a course when we can, but go and do a course because even if you end up like that guy with the BDC reticle and nothing's quite ideal, you will walk away knowing exactly what you want. You probably have played with a couple of guns. I know what shooters are like. They're like, and here, try this, try that, feel this. You'll walk away with a really good picture of exactly what you want. You actually will save yourself a ton of money that way, I think, because you will buy exactly what you need, learn from others' mistakes. And even if you go back and do the course again with your new gear, and no doubt Joe would probably bump that up a little bit in terms of knowledge, what you build on, you will still have saved money by sort of starting with what you've got. Tell me if I'm wrong, Jay, but I think that's right.
You're not wrong, mate.
Yeah.
You are not wrong whatsoever. I've seen guys blow all the money on the planet on their first rifle and then shoot for half an hour, and you can actually see in their face they hate it.
Yes. Yep.
Whereas this fella, he's bought what he could afford at the time and what he thought he wanted and all the rest of it.
Yep.
And then he gets up with the biggest grin on his face and he loves the sport.
Yeah. Yeah, fantastic.
Which is really cool. It's good for everybody. Good for me, good for you, good for shooters, good for rangers, good for the community. It's just, I think it's cool. I think it's really cool.
That's what we want. Yeah. And I certainly found like back when I was starting off and where my passion for training came was the idea that if people, what I found is that the guys with knowledge hung around. A lot of guys sort of get into shooting, shoot a little bit, don't have a lot of access to stuff, and they just do bits and pieces. They're not engaged. Whereas as their knowledge built, and they're like, oh, this is fascinating. I want to do this, and I want to achieve this. I want to shoot further or better or faster or whatever it is. And they were more and more involved, which helps, as you said, rangers and trainers and other shooters and the sport to grow and just has all these significant benefits for the wider community. So I'm passionate for people to develop knowledge because it keeps them involved and around. Yeah,
absolutely,
mate. We might
and as
carry on, man. Carry on.
So and as people's knowledge grows, and people develop skills with the new kit that nobody wants to use, and I always go back to a trim of 3. People are like, oh, it's too, I don't know, whatever. Yep. As soon as people get their head around it and they start using it, like this thing's amazing, it's amazing, it's amazing. It's those sorts of people that are going to go, right, Horace, you need to now do this, this, and this because I've outgrown this reticle, and it keeps industry involved and keeps them innovating, and it makes it better for everybody,
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. Like, well, you have a wider circle. There's a bigger money pool. There's more sort of stuff happening, which leads to better development. The reason we're so far advanced in this long range shooting world is because there was that desire and that need for it, and then from the military side of things, and then civilian stuff. And the civilian stuff pushed, in the competition world, they push because they're not restricted by what they have to be able to deploy for how many people need to use one system. They can just go, I'm going to do it that way or that way or that way. And we just have so much creativity, innovation, and then it gets pushed harder and harder and further. And it's worthwhile doing because, if someone creates something that might sell a couple hundred of them, and it's worthwhile investing that time, and people do it for that and for the passion of it, and more shooters with higher level of knowledge works really well.
Absolutely, mate. No, I fully agree.
All right, there's a couple of questions thrown in, Jay. If we can throw to them, mate. There was one. Andrew up in Queensland asks, "What's do you see some common mistakes or improvement opportunities you see you guys wanting to get into PRS or positional shooting in general?" Top three he's suggesting, but if there's any common threads that you see.
Okay, so I don't want people to think just because I do this that I'm an amazing PRS shooter. Yes, I shoot in the PRS, and yes, I shoot in the PSR, but I ain't as good as those boys in that top 10. Believe you me, they blow my mind. So that caveat, with what I see through my training and the stuff that I do, and then the stuff that I watch at PRS, and I don't like to criticise people at PRS because, like I say, I ain't winning any trophies just yet. I'm coming for you, boys. I am coming, and especially you, Emma.
Say that.
Anyway, she's on my list.
Yeah, good. You've got to have a list. You've got to have a list of the people you want to be. Good.
Yeah. No, so the things that I really notice, and that's all the basic things. So, like I say, long range shooting and even PRS shooting, it's just really easy to stuff up, and long range shooting is just 100 meter shooting, but you're further away.
Yeah.
So, but when we get further away, all our little things we do wrong are magnified, and you'll start to pick them up yourself once somebody points them out to you. So number one is trigger manipulation or trigger control, and you just, guys jump off the trigger all the time as fast as they're pulling the trigger, or fast as the gun's going bang anyway, they come off the trigger.
That's right, Ben.
Don't worry about that. Yeah. If I'm running a course and that comes off, I explain it this way. If you pull the trigger and the gun goes bang and you hold the trigger for the rest of the day, that's the safest that gun's ever going to be. It's gone bang. It's got an empty piece of brass in it. It can't go bang again until you take your finger off the trigger, lift the bolt handle, run the bolt, and put another round in it. So right there, it's the safest. So stay there. Don't move. Yeah, that follow through. A big one also is natural point of aim. I bang on about it really hard during our training, during our courses, and then turn up at a PRS match and don't do it.
Yep.
But it's okay.
Yep.
It's not okay. So that's the natural point of aim. Let the gun settle. Let it find its natural point of aim. And if it's not pointed at the target, adjust the gun. Don't it? And if it's on a barricade, you're going to have to adjust the gun. If you're on the ground, maybe you need to adjust it's situational dependent. So the big two, and the other one, the third one is breathing. And if you go through those three that I've just mentioned, they're three of the five fundamentals that I teach.
Yeah.
So, and breathing, people they'll shoot at the top of their breath, or they'll shoot halfway through breathing out, or they're breathing out. So they just breathe out, relax, shoot. Once body's got rid of all its oxygen, it's relaxed. You can hold your breath longer when you're not holding your breath.
Yes.
So your body's got longer fatigue time. You don't shake as much. Your eyes don't fatigue. Yeah. All that sort of carry on. So they're the top three. And people just go, oh man, I'm looking for that piece of gold, but the piece of gold was in those 4 to 5 fundamentals that they've been teaching since archers were trying to hit targets at a couple hundred meters away. It hasn't changed.
That's the truth, though, isn't it? Like you can get real fancy with gear and techniques and drills and all this sort of gear, but if you haven't got fundamentals squared away, and you never will, there's always room for development there. But if you haven't got them squared away, you can forget the other stuff. It'll have the biggest long term. Like guys will see they'll learn to like build a knee position. and that'll they'll go from missing targets to hitting targets in half an hour by developing this. They'll see a net result, but they'll see this massive long term increase in their hit rate if they just focus on those fundamentals. At least I've seen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Another question here. Where was it? Carl from Lithgow asks if you're nervous every time you open your scope caps now.
Yes. Sometimes I'm not even opening them anymore, Carl, and it doesn't help my shooting.
And you want to explain that one?
So I was fortunate enough to be at the testing evaluation centre there at Lithgow.
Yep.
And Jonesy, one of your guests from the other night,
he
said he's like, hey man, and I should have seen this coming. So I've known Jonesy for quite some time.
Yep.
Let's say we worked together for a while.
Leave it
so
at that.
I know him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he hands me a 105.
Yep.
And it's got a scope on it. It's got the Steiner scope on it, which I've been there a few times. I may have even mounted the thing on the rifle. Like I've seen the scope before.
Yep.
And if I haven't seen that exact scope, I've seen the scope before. And he's like, hey, dude, check the scope out. I'm like, wow, man, show me the scope. And because we're inside, I lifted the barrel up at the roof so then I could actually get a clear vision of what the reticle pattern and all the rest of it was. So I set myself up even well. It didn't need to be this bad. But I've done this, lifted it up, sky, popped the cap, and this huntsman has dropped that on my face.
Oh, it's great. I've heard it 3 or 4 times, and it still gets
for
better.
you people that
good.
For the people that don't know me, I grew up in New Zealand. I was in New Zealand until I was 26 years. I haven't seen a bad spider or snake in my life until I'm 26. It scares the shit out of me, that stuff.
So I think we are building on the advice that people may have picked up over the last few days is don't trust Jonesy for anything.
No.
Not at all.
He'll give you some good tips on shooting and stuff but
yeah, he's had some spotlighting tips, but don't trust him beyond that. Yeah, absolutely. Check everything he says, and if he hands you anything, hand it back.
No, those green lasers are so he can find the fox before you do.
That's right. He's out there in his camo ghillie suit. Yeah. All right. Paul Jones asks a more sensible question, perhaps. How much do you work on wind calls and using kestrels? Are kestrels part of your shooting routine and kit?
For me, yes. Sadly, our 2-day course just isn't long enough to really get into the wind training. We go through it. We go through aerodynamic jump, AJ. We go through some wind formulas. We go through, generally guys have got a trimmer 3 on the course. We go through how to use that.
Yep.
Seeing Mirage, using Mirage, seeing what the grass is doing. All that. We talk through that and work through that. We work through gaining wind speed at your end, how to apply that to your system.
Mm-hmm.
But we spend the first day where we don't even touch wind on the course.
Yep. Because
we're trying to fix and build and create everything else, and then we get into the more of the shooting and the distance shooting on the second day. And if the wind sometimes can be doing absolutely nothing, it's really hard to do that training other than, and I've got some electrical tape, and I'll just wait for people to turn around and I'll dial their wind on and put some tape over their turret so they can't see what's on, and then they've got to fix it. That's a little bit of wind training on the course. But for me, when I'm doing my shooting and when we're at work doing our shooting, a kestrel is in my pocket like all the time, all the time.
Oh, ready. One for each pocket.
One is none. So
yeah, I've got 2 hands. I may as well have 2 kestrels.
No, I do kestrels better than I do my own shooting.
Yeah. Okay. So they play a big role in what you do from your shooting perspective. Yeah.
Absolutely, mate. So always looking at it, always checking the wind. Jackie and I go walking with the dog, and there's a couple of hills we crest, and I've always got it out, checking it, feeling it. So with the Kestrel, it wasn't until I trained with Titled Accuracy first that I really seen its worth. He really, pushed it home to us. And the calibration of yourself and you feel what you feel, what you hear, what you're seeing. To like, I've been doing it for years. Been writing it down for years, jotting it down, making notes. Wind was doing this. I felt that, and as soon as I pull that Kestrel out and go, that's 12 mile an hour. I know what all that means. You need that calibration tool. You need to be, working on what the grass does in 12 mile an hour compared to 16 mile an hour, just in case you don't have it when you lay down.
Yeah.
Calibrate yourself to the direction. The wind direction is just as important as the wind speed. So I know it's a very expensive outlay, but that $1,000, $1,200 that you spend on a Kestrel, it is almost as important, if not more important, than the bullets you buy. Because you like, if you don't know what's going on around you, you can't guess it. The reason that police officers have a radar gun to check your speed is because humans suck at guessing speed. Like a patrolman can't, a police officer, a highway patrol guy can't go, oh, you were doing 115, and then walk into court and go, hey, you were doing 115.
Yeah.
And magistrate's going, how do you know? Well, he's got to have a calibrated tool to do it. He can't do it by eye.
Yep.
So us guys that are out in the field trying to guess wind speed, until we've got that Kestrel in hand, calibrate ourselves all the time, we're going to suck at it forever. So technology is a beautiful thing. Embrace it.
I'm trying to at the moment. I'll back up that wind reading and wind application is a perishable skill. Significantly.
Absolutely.
I was very fortunate. I used to be on range 12, 13 days a month. And I was actually possibly more. And again, same as you, Kestrel in the pocket, was always looking, guessing, checking, calibrating myself virtually daily, to the point where we were able to call myself and Dan Incole, the other trainer I was working with, we were able to look downrange and call wind and have someone down there confirming back to us on radio. And we'll, pretty much bang on a lot of the time, big percentage. I shot a match beginning of this earlier this year, and I'm looking through the scope, and I would not have put any time or focus on wind for 3 years because I've been doing this competition thing, but the other side of it, and I put no focus on it, practice into it, and looked downrange, saw the wind, and went, "There's definitely some wind." Okay, well, I've just aimed that way a bit. Hold left edge, we're good. And I found myself just lacking in that skill diminishes fairly quickly. And so if you are into it, stay on it. And it makes sense that you are on this, still having done it for however many years you've done it, you've got to keep that skill honed. Yeah, and it takes a little bit to draw that back. So I'm way off my game on that side of things. Anyway,
so just another little quick tip on that wind calling stuff is call wind for your mates. So when you're calling for your mates and you're spotting, there's no ego associated with it. So I'll make a call for you and I'll say, hey, give me 1.2 left. I don't care if you missed the shot. That's not my fault. It's not your bullet. That's not my bullet. It's your bullet.
Yeah.
You're wasting your time and money, not me.
Yeah.
But when there's no ego associated with it, I don't look bad if I make a bad wind call. You look bad because you missed the target. So, but you will find you'll make better wind calls because the consequences aren't on you.
Yeah.
So try and do it for your mates as much as you can.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I actually don't know about you, Jay, but I found that I learnt a lot more from spotting and working with someone on wind than actually being behind the gun. Because when you're behind the gun, you're like, okay, making wind call, making adjustment and fundamentals and breathing and trigger and this and follow through, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all this stuff. Whereas when you're on the spotter, you're like, what's the wind doing?
Yeah.
And that's your only, that and watching your what's happening downrange is everything that you are doing. And so I found that, I would upskill I mean, that's probably why I got quite good at wind, because I was through a spotting scope for 4 hours a day. And so spotting for other people, you will learn so much more. Or spotting for a PRS match, or just going and shooting with mates and being on the spotter. Don't be afraid to not shoot.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Very good. Do you talk about wind bracketing at all on your course, or is that something?
Oh yeah, definitely, mate. It's so wind bracking. So my eyes got opened massively to wind proper when I started using the Tremor 2 originally, now Tremor 3.
Yep.
So holy shit, man! I can see all my wind. I can see what my wind is on target.
Yep.
Like somebody's telling me that's 12 mile an hour. I can see that third dot on target, and I can see the first and second wind on target. I've got 12 mile an hour on this target. Who cares? Make the shot, you know.
Yep.
So that was and that's just wind bracketing.
Yeah.
But it's visually represented on your reticle with the wind dots here.
Yeah.
We can take that, especially with our software these days, and create our own bracket. So let's say we're at I don't know. We're at 500 meters shooting a 6.5. You're holding 2.93 mil. Your 4 mile an hour bracket is 0.3 per every 4 mile an hour. So hold up my Kestrel, it's doing 16 mile an hour. So that's, 4 lots of 4 mile an hour. So I'll just look at 1.2. 1.2 is on the target, and then I've got 0.9 and 1 on the target. So I don't care if it's 16, 12, or 20 mile an hour down at 500 meters. I can see that bracket on target, and bang, away you go. So the bracketing thing is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Can I employ it at speed under a clock on a barricade that's a star picket with a bag that falls off it while, Jamie Dennis is heckling me? He doesn't heckle, he's just a really nice guy. I'm just making that shit up. No, I can't.
Yep.
But I'll teach it to you.
Yeah, I think that once you work out wind bracketing as a concept, it changes how you look at trying to engage targets downrange, particularly in the PRS
Yes.
and service rifle world, where you're trying to hit target more than you are trying to do these tiny groups. It certainly it stacks in your favour immensely. Yeah, nice, man, nice. Just a quick little shout out to the guys who are watching. Tonight is our Zoom hangout night, so if after the show you've got a little bit of time, for about 40 minutes, we're going to all get in the Zoom room together. Whoever's around, numbers will go up towards the end of the show. Come hang out, ask questions, chat, show guns off, show all sorts of stuff off, and it will be good fun. Righto, Jay's topping up on the beverages. Good important things to do. In fact, there was some chatter about there was a question. Run out of single malt whiskey. Anyone got any good recommendations for something for something preferably Australian? Are you a whiskey drinker at all, Jay? Are you? He's off. He's gone. We've upset him with questions. Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I'm not smart enough to remember those sorts of names, mate. If you put a single malt in front of me, I'll drink it all night long. But remember his name? No.
Yeah, I think you did get some answers on that, which is excellent. All right, here we go. Actually, there is one more on wind, and I'll come back to another question. Why do Aussie shooters use miles per hour instead of? Well, he says miles per hour and yards instead of meters and kilometers per hour. I have to say that generally the ranges I shoot on are meters generally, but I think the yard side of things is more so that's how the ranges were built originally, and so we often use that when we're talking about a range. Having said that, why do we use miles per hour versus kilometers per hour or meters per second in the wind side of things? You got me.
Right, so there's probably one man that could answer to all of this carry on, and that'd be Todd over at Accuracy First. But with this Tremor 3 reticle and the way they design it, and believe me, I've spent many an hour trying to reverse engineer it and work out where they've come, where these wind dots have come from and how they come up with them.
Yep.
But needless to say, most guns, most calibers are sort of 6 mil to 7 mil, sort of in that sort of bracket, will work out as a 4 mile an hour gun. 4 mile an hour works out to be
roughly 6.5 kilometers an hour, or we never remember the meters, about 1.2 or 1.25 meters per second. So I suck at my 1.25 meter times table, and I suck at my 6.5 kilometers an hour times table, but I'm really good at 4 times tables. Well, I'm not really good at it, but it's easy to work out.
Good enough, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just all about making the math easier. So when it comes to mile an hour or kilometers an hour, if you were to stand out in the wind, like let's say you're at the racetrack, at a car racetrack, V8 supercars, and I told you to tell me how fast the car went past a mile an hour, and most people look at you and go, "What are you talking about?" And then I say, "Right, tell me how fast it went past in kilometers an hour," and they'll also look at you and go, "What are you talking about?" So we need a tool to tell us how fast stuff's going past us, including the wind. The Kestrel is going to tell us, how fast the wind speed is. Who cares what unit of measure it's in? Whether it's in kilometers an hour, miles per hour, meters per second, inches per whatever the imperial time measurement is. It's going to tell us a number, and it's the number we need. We don't need the unit; we just need the number, so we can turn it into a bracket, so we can work it out into a reticle.
Yep. Yeah.
So I work in mile per hour because the numbers are easier for me, and then in the next breath, I will rubbish my way to the cows come home.
I think you're spot on, because guys do use meters per second. There are plenty of guys around who do use it, and I can't get the numbers. Don't same thing. Just simple maths, and I've found miles per hour has been more simple with running formulas, and you can do them in meters. All the numbers work out. It works, but. It just seems that the numbers are easier to deal with miles per hour, and they're good enough in terms of accurate enough to just still hit targets. So,
So when you're worried about trigger control, breathing, sight alignment, natural point of aim, balancing your gun on a star picket, trying to breathe, keep up with time, and then do your 1.2 times table, I know what I'm doing.
All over it.
Missing.
All over it. Missing. Yeah, I'm probably just on a spotting scope. All right, now there was a question back a little bit further that was unrelated to wind. We might move on from wind, because we could spend the next 15 episodes on it and not cover it. Someone was talking very nicely about you, Jay. You look like a very fit bloke. You got
wow,
admire,
thank
mate.
you.
Yeah, there you go. That was it.
Thank you.
That was the comment.
Let's end the show. Let's end it there. That's a good way to end it, mate.
Yeah, that's it. Can you tell us what sort of physical training you do to keep yourself fit and healthy and ready for competition shooting?
Yeah, so I've actually started mucking around with this a little bit, to be honest, Rusty. So I don't see a massive physical impost on any of the stuff at the PRS or the PSR, but obviously being fit and healthy makes it easier for you to breathe and focus on other things. If you're struggling, if you're unfit because you've just walked a couple hundred meters to get to the next firing line, or you've just run back to grab your magazine 10 meters to run back to your rifle, that's 20 meters. Most people are doing that to go to the letterbox. So if that's a problem, maybe that's something you can work on so you don't have to focus on it. So just getting out for a walk and all that sort of carrying on.
Yep.
I actually think the biggest thing for shooting, and I don't work on it, never have, never probably will, but need to, is flexibility to get yourself into those positions. Get yourself, contortionalized into that stupid box that you had that time, and fences and flexibility would be really cool.
Yeah,
I can't be bothered with it, but being flexible would be a really good thing. Obviously, just being healthy, just being fit, healthy. You don't have to be able to, bench press the world or squat the world or, be able to run a marathon, but just being healthier lets you focus on, the task at hand.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Does that answer the question, mate, or have I just danced around it?
I think without getting into a full fitness regime, which is perhaps the other way the question could go, which is probably fair, and talking about bringing it relevant to it. Yeah, you're right. Like, if I'm going to be shooting matches, I'm going to personally want to be a bit fitter, not because it's super strenuous, but that'll put me in a better position with breathing, with it's not running out of breath and bits and pieces, and that's you're now starting to give away some plans for next week. But anyway, that's the way we're headed. So more on that in future times. Yeah, very good. Now there was a few other sledging at matches. How do you deal with getting sledged during matches? And I'll put a caveat on this that generally speaking, you only sledge other shooters that you know. The sledging is done in good fun, but there is plenty of it. How do you find that?
So the very first PRS match I shot, mate, was at Mildura.
Yep.
And I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if my rifle was what it needed to be able to shoot these comps and the rest of it. But a couple of people talked me into it, and there was a good bunch of dudes. It was cool to hang out with and all the rest of it. First shoot that I did was when you had at the Mildura match was you had to pick up had to run down, pick up a tire, bring it back, make a shot, run down, pick up a tire, make a shot. You're stacking the tires up.
Yep, I remember that.
All I wanted to do was make my cold bore shot, make that first shot of the day, and I think it was only like 300 metres or something, but I just wanted to nail that first shot. And if I missed for the rest of the day, I didn't care. I was just going to be happy making that shot. Richard Basladinsky, who I'm guessing has answered this question. Has he asked this question?
He's one of the guys discussing things, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Was ripping into me. And we were having we were giving it to each other backwards and forwards. There was stuff mentioned about wives and whatnot. It was wrong.
Yep.
But it was happening.
Yep.
If he's starting it, I'm in. I'm doing this. Even though I'm running backwards and forwards and tires and shooting all the rest of it.
Yep.
Best stage I've ever shot in my whole PRS career.
There's a correlation, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so it stops me from thinking about how bad I'm about to be, I think. Mm-hmm. I'm too busy trying to think of the next sledge. Gets me out of my bubble.
Oh, I love it. That's fantastic. That's brilliant.
Yeah. No, it was cool. It was really cool. I really enjoyed that day, to be honest with that.
Yeah.
That was cool.
We, at our club, we've got some pretty good PRS shooters at the club. Andy Little and Plushy and Travie, and there's Nash, and there's a solid amount of guys there who are very good shooters. And so one of the things that we do during our club shoots is we super consciously get stuck into each other. I am known. You never want to ask me to film your stage, because a lot of guys go, "Oh, can you film my stage so I can watch it back and get better?" Because I will get both phones out and a third if I had another hand, and I will put them there and I'll film your stage in your face and in the way. Because if you can deal with I'll never touch you or anything like that. It's completely safe in terms of allowing you to shoot. But because if you can deal with that much disruption and distraction going on and still be focused on hitting targets and ignore me, which is sometimes difficult, but if you ignore me and ignore what's going on around you, what I've found is guys' focus it actually builds over that. And when we do it, we only do it to the guys who are on board with that concept. But we do it in a way that's intentional, so that they find themselves under some pressure. And so far, it has worked really, really well. And the guys can basically just turn everything off. I've had to get creative in how to throw them off their game, but it works. It works well.
Can you stop making those boys better, mate? It's like coming from a state or a territory that doesn't have a club competition. It is really hard to come down there and suck when you're making them better all the time.
You're welcome, Jay.
Please.
You're welcome. There's a guy
mate, that club of yours.
There's a guy.
That's the gold mine of shooters down there, man.
Oh, we do all right, man. But there's actually a guy in Canberra. You should look him up. He does some shooting training. You could probably go and catch up with him and spend a day. If you orange, some sort of fruit, something or other. I can't remember. Anyway, go check him out. Very good. All right. Back onto it. This is why I love this community, because it's nice to get stuck into things. All right. Have you thought about doing a course? We're back onto wind. Sorry, mate. That's where the questions are going. But have you thought about doing a course, like an extended course that is designed purely around wind and kestrels and that sort of thing?
I would love to, mate. I'd love to. And there's some locations around this country that would be amazing for it.
Yep. But
due to, obviously, as everybody knows, our rules and regulations around templating and whatnot, it gets very, very difficult to be able to, take people to those facilities and and use them to their full potential.
Mm-hmm.
If I get my way with my wife, eventually, I'm going to get that block of dirt that's got the knoll in the centre of it, and we're going to turn it into would like to turn it into just that ultimate that wind course. It might not be me, it might not be me boy, it might be my grandkid. I don't know, but with just the range restrictions makes it really, really difficult to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the top two places I've shot on the planet. One of them being over in Texas in Canada on a property out there.
Yep.
You stand up and you're feeling 24 mile an hour wind on your face, and you lay down and you're feeling 24 mile an hour on your shoes because it's driving through the soles of your feet.
Wow.
So hold on a minute. The wind is just coming directly at me when I'm standing up. So you stand back up and then it's smacking you in the side of the face. It's like, what is going on? Yeah. So then you have to spend a bit of time and work out where it's coming from and what the terrain's doing with it, and then lay down and make your shot. And then the next target is, 40 degrees in that direction. So now it changes all again.
Yeah.
In Australia, we just don't have the facilities for that. I think the best way to be able to do a proper wind course, we wouldn't be able to shoot most of the time. We'd just be standing there holding up, Kestrel, looking into the wind, working it out, all the rest of it, and then walking over to another location and starting again, just due to our restrictions.
Yep.
With templating there, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
I would dearly love to do it because it's fascinating. It's really fascinating.
Absolutely. It's to be able to get out on a property that's got all sorts of dynamics and stuff would be you learn a lot and you learn quick. You have to.
Absolutely.
Well and truly. All right, I'm just going to have a little scroll through the chat to see if there is anything else that we need to cover off on there. But I've got a question for you because you came back from New Zealand and you were basically stuck home for a couple of weeks, and that's when we had the chance to talk to you a couple of times. But you started producing more video content and more stuff on Facebook. How is that pivot? How has that changed for your business to sort of start considering more of that? I'm sure I know you did a bit of it, but to really go down that path.
Yeah, mate. I had a course lined up a couple of weeks ago now, a couple of weekends ago.
Yep.
And obviously we have to postpone it due to what's going on. And then I was starting to think, well, I'm not going to get a chance to get in front of people for a while. And obviously when we started doing, when you asked me to come on board and do a couple of these with you, obviously nobody's getting out there. And then I had to renew my license. So I had to go down the range and speak to a couple of range officers. They're only there to sign your application so you can get your license.
Yeah,
and started talking about it with them. And I thought, well, nobody's shooting. And I know for me, I was chomping at the bit to get out there like a junkie waiting to go and shoot again. So I'm not the only one, man. Maybe rather than just waiting for people to come on the course to give them info, maybe I can help. I don't like using the term help. Maybe I can just give what I can give, to people to keep them interested. I know, I'm not the prettiest head to look at, and I know that it's not the greatest productions in the world and all the rest of it. I just thought, maybe people might be interested, and maybe it'll help them, increase their knowledge and have a thirst for, more and chase better bullets and chase better software and, look for better actions and what that next scope, all that sort of stuff, and if we can keep the industry going while we're all locked in the house, when they let us out, we're back on straight away, as opposed to, that lag of 3 or 4 months before it all sort of generates back again. That's where I sort of come in with. Well, that's exactly where I was coming from with it. Mm-hmm. Whether people are enjoying it or not, I've got a couple of comments saying, people are enjoying it, but I'm going to keep doing it to hopefully maybe one day somebody gets that 1%, and they just go, yep, that'll do me.
Yeah. I think the thing is that you get a few guys who are on it, and they're good, and guys will, as more people discover, but they're going to sit there as well. They're going to be there for a period of time. Like I had a video the other day that had done really well and then go quiet for a long time. And then someone put the link somewhere because it shot up another 30% or 40% of the views that it had in like 3 or 4 days. And it's just, it keeps on going. And you never quite know when someone goes, oh, I found this really useful, puts it somewhere, and then bang, away we go.
Yep.
So it's amazing. So we are coming towards the end of it. But just we've had a question in the chat as well, but I think it's probably really appropriate. How do people find you on the various social medias? You're on Instagram?
Yep. Instagram, obviously, is it at orange.accuracy? I think it.
Yep.
Is it at you use Instagram?
Yep.
And then same on Facebook, Orange Accuracy on Facebook.
And how long until you get a TikTok? When do we see you dancing on screen?
Yep. You'll see me on maths before you see me on TikTok.
That's now going to become a clip from this show. You see me on. Emma's going to have that one on repeat. Oh, very good, man. Very good. Excellent. Well, guys, Jay, thanks so much. There are questions there. We're just not going to get to them. Sorry. There is so much and a lot of stuff about wind and bits and pieces. Guys, go talk to Jay. Give him, the details are there. Hook him up on Insta, on Facebook, and have a chat with him and get lined up for a course. Go watch his videos. Or tell him the videos you want him to make while he's, while everything is basically it's illegal to leave the house. Go and check that out and see what happens because once we're all back and free to get into it, no doubt there will be course dates floating around for Canberra and for Victoria probably as we've done them previously.
Yep.
And more projects on the go. So guys, if you're watching and you've liked what Jay's had to say, we've only minorly scratched the surface of the knowledge base that is there, and so there is a lot more to take in, a lot more to go. He spent time with some amazing dudes and has become one himself, which is awesome to see. So guys, look forward to go give him likes now, go jump on it, all that sort of thing. Jay, any passing comments, anything you want to let the guys know before we finish this up and go into a Zoom hangout?
Mate, guys, just get out there, support these channels, support, whether it's Long Gun Project, Impact Dynamics, Scotty Patel's got one up there, Scotty Knows, I think it's called.
Between Hunts.
Support that stuff. Yep. Support get to your local gun shop. If it's not open, go and stand in front of it with a sign that says open the shop.
I love it. Yeah, nice. Yeah, awesome.
Walk in, buy what you can. If you can't afford to buy anything or you don't need anything, go and have a chat. Just look after the people that are looking after us. Go down to the range. There's range officers. I know, so in ACT, there's range officers down there waiting to sign your license renewal and things like that. Just go down and have a chat with them. Just go and keep the community going, keep the sport going, and just look after it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And send your local MPs. If you're in one of those states that's struggling, whether it's Victoria, WA, whatever,
Queensland,
send your MP, your local MP, a letter saying, "Hey, dudes, this isn't cool." I think it's a Firearms Owners Union. Have got a template letter. All you got to do is put your name on the top of it. Put your name on top of it. Send it to your local MP. Let these people need to know that we want to get out there and enjoy ourselves, and we're doing it safely. This is the safest sport, bar none, in Australia. So just support the sport, man. Support the sport.
Yeah, I love it. That's it, guys. If you see one of Jay's videos, share it out. Do that sort of stuff. Drop it into the shooting groups. Get support out because we want to be in a position where as soon as everything's back on track, let's get into this. Let's get stuck into it. Let's get rounds down range. We are from a PRS point of view. We'll take a moment to mention that we are basically waiting till one range gives us the okay that they're back on deck in some sort of time, and we will turn a match around as soon as we possibly can, which will be fairly quickly actually.
Majura ACT.
Well, get them on board, man. Get them approved. Let's get it done. Sweet. So, guys, thanks so much for joining us tonight. The Zoom numbers are in the chat. They will be up on the screen in a moment. Take care, and we will see you on see you on Zoom. See you tomorrow with Steve from Outer Edge. And Jay, thanks very much for the time, mate. It's awesome. Always awesome to talk to you, and all the best, dude.
Thanks very much, mate. Looking forward to listening to Steve tomorrow night. he should probably be on tonight and tomorrow night.
We'll see. We'll do a combo show sometime. Awesome, mate. No worries. We'll get into this, hang out and chat to some guys there. Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
All right, there we go. Hey, I know we got a few other guys coming in here, which is awesome. Jay, biggest show we've ever done. Biggest show we've ever done, man. Yep.
Bullshit.
No, this we had the biggest, I think, concurrent viewers we'd ever had, and we peaked about 50, and normally we sit around like 35, 40. And we also had I think the largest number. So awesome, man. You're clearly dudes are keen to hear from you. And there's a few of them here now waiting to hear from you as well. Hello, Steve, Hamish. I'm guessing that's you, Charles. And haven't had you in here before. And Lana.
Yep.
Good to see you. And we've got, oh no, guys, just brace yourself. Emma has asked to join.
Fuck!
Yeah, sorry.
Can I swear now?
Oh, you can go nuts, mate. You can go nuts. Oh, good. It's